Hi everybody, we're back. I wanted to show you some examples of book formats. We talked a little bit about it in class last night, but I realized looking at the homework that some of you are not clear on what some of the formats are, and so I wanted to show you some examples rather than just telling what definitions are, because of course sometimes it's easier to see and realize exactly what it is that you're looking at. So we're going to start with board books. These are for the youngest readers. It has to do with the format. Remember, we're talking about format, not genre. Genre is the content. Format is what the actual physical look of the book is. Board books are made for the littlest readers, and some of you have probably heard me say this, but my children had literally teethed on board books when they were babies. These are the best. They tend to be for smallest children because they're the toughest and can't get too much slobber on them. They can get some slobber on them as opposed to a book with paper pages, which will, of course, almost immediately melt. Board books are exactly what they say. The whole thing is made, all the pages are boards, right? Board books come in a variety of sizes. Here we have one about bugs, another one about Rory the lion, right? But again, we're looking at the pages. Tend to be, they're hard. That's why they're called board books. They're like little boards. But as I said, they're best for little hands, particularly ones that are very small. They might actually look like a little bit of little cube. Really great for those 10 to 18-month-olds who are they're learning their small motor skills. And that's what I mean when I say my children literally teethed on books. I would give them those. They eventually melted, got too nasty, but I got them at the dollar store. Those were great for that age group, for what I wanted them for. Taught them, showed them how to manipulate a book, how to open pages, turn pages at a very young age. Board books do come in a variety of sizes. This is one of the bigger ones, right? And some of them are quite boards. This one I would consider a board book because it has reinforced pages. But if you're actually looking at the pages are more of a lightweight cardboard than paper. But the idea is the same, is that they're for small children and they're a little bit more durable. This is another one that I love. Came out as a picture book first. We'll get to picture books in just a second. But then they made it into a board book where the pages are boards, right? But the cover is padded. So it's got a little bit of padding in there. I think it's more for aesthetics than actually anything else. But I just wanted you to be aware of what kinds of things you're looking for when you're looking at board books. Now, moving up a little bit, I'm going to show you some toy books. Toy books are really usually not good for a classroom or library setting. They have moving parts, will get mangled fairly quickly, but you might want to have them in your home if you have small children around. They can be fun. The engineering is getting better on them than they have been in the past, so the flaps won't tear quite so easily on some, but you got to look for those. Selena Yoon is somebody who does a lot of engineered books. You might look for her books. They're very, very clever. There's one that she's got about a kaleidoscope that actually the book itself turns into a kaleidoscope. So that's really cool. But toy books are exactly that. They've got moving parts. They might be a toy. This is a board book that is also a toy book. Look, little blue truck. He actually beeps. All right, but it's also a board book, and it's cut out. Hello. All right. Toy books can also include things that have removable parts. This one actually has an envelope in the front. It's called Glasses to Go. It has an envelope in the front. You open it up, and there's there's several pair of glasses to put on the different characters. Oops. That one goes like that. Really cute, but again, the parts are going to get lost. They're going to get bent or torn. Not really great for libraries, but okay, for your own house or for a gift. All right. This is a new book that I've got. It's a counting book. It's really pretty clever. I like it. I don't have any, I'm not opposed to it. But again, it's got moving parts. Lift the flap here. And this one actually has a sliding window here. All right, good for counting, not really great for the library or classroom. It's going to get destroyed very quickly. And they tend to be more expensive because they are engineered. All right, also, toy books can come in a variety of topics. I like this one. For a little bit older kids, Pop-Up Shakespeare. There we go. Lots of text, for older kids, but might make it a little bit more appealing to them to get into a really heavy topic like Shakespeare. Also has some pop-up pages, or lift the flap pages. Right, but again, for a much older age group. The next format we're going to talk about is readers. All right, I talked about them a little bit last night in class. Readers are for children who aren't quite ready to read on their own, but are starting to get there, and it gives them a feeling of accomplishment to get through a whole book on their own. What's unique about readers is the size. Look at all these. Pretty much the same size. You generally will find them in libraries in a section on their own, but the literacy level, the reading level varies dramatically for these. Some of them have chapters. This one is a level 1 reader, right? Very few pages, very few words on a page, and the letters are the font is quite large. All right, no chapters in this one. And the pictures still help guide the reader in the story, right? Little Bear came out as an early chapter book and then has been incorporated into the beginning readers set. But of course, this is Maurice Sendak. This came out in the 60s. I know I read them and I loved them when I was a child. But you see there's more text here, and there are several different stories in this one book. They're broken into chapters, but they're not necessarily contingent upon one another. Then we have something like this. Again, even more words on a page for a little bit better readers. One of the things you have to remember is that the leveling on the readers is not consistent across publishers. So a level 1 reader, in fact, this Emmett book that I showed you is a level 1 reader in the Ready to Read series. This Little Bear, with all those words, is also a level 1 reader, but in the I Can Read series, which is HarperCollins. So just be aware that just because it has a 1 in front of it, that doesn't mean that the reading level is going to be the same. Let's see. All right, now we're moving into, of course, the picture books. Where did I put them? Picture books are the majority of what you're going to be reading are picture books. Few words, and the illustration and the text are carefully married together to enhance each other. Right? Come in lots of different sizes and different types of art. This is one of my favorite illustrators. You see also how the illustrations help the reader move across the page. But they're not necessarily for children to read on their own. They're more for adults and children to read together. This is another one by Brian Pinkney, whose art I also love. And then here's another big one, Zen Shorts, which is one of Caldecott honor several years ago. Not lots of text, heavy on the illustration to help tell the page, set the setting, describe the characters, and so on. Finally, we have chapter books, which are exactly what you think they are. But we want to remind you that chapter books come in a variety of different levels as well. This is a Kingdom of Renly part of the series. These third and fourth grade level series, there are lots and lots of them. Kids like them because they do tend to be a little bit formulaic, but that also helps them become better readers. The topic or plot tends to be the same per book, as is the literary format. But as I said, there have been studies done where we know that that kind of repetition, like Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys, allows children to focus more on the vocabulary, and as long as the plot is standardized and predictable. Then we get into things like juvenile readers, juvenile fiction, Flora and Ulysses. If you haven't read it, great book. The Crossover and Jacqueline Woodson's Brown Girl Dreaming are both told in poetry books, but told in a dynamic type of poetry that makes them fairly quick to get through and excellent reads. This one, a Crossover, of course, won the Newbery Medal a few years ago, plus a Coretta Scott King. Jacqueline Woodson's was also shortlisted for the National Book Award. All right, that's it for formats right now. We'll do a little bit more on genres and so forth in a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed it.